Welcome back to the Skitch on Wheels channel. Today, I've got two bikes sitting beside me. They're each 51 years old, and I'm going to start this project of trying to bring life back to these bikes. So let's go have a look, and I'm going to show you what I got. Here we have it. I call it Rusty, 1975 Kawasaki H1 500. And it is rough, folks. And I'm telling you, I've got a lot of parts already off this bike. They're all rough. Everything's going to need to be broken down, cleaned, replaced, put back together. And I don't think I'll have a running bike on this one. It's going to be the other one that hopefully we can get running. But these are really hard to find bikes. And the great thing about this, I have the title to both of them, and the frames and engines match. So they're worth fixing up. Let's go have a look at the other bike. Whew, it's hot out here. Indiana summers are terrible. But here it is, another 1975 Kawasaki H1. This one I'm calling Brownie. And if you look at it, it looks a little bit better. It's got a little bit more on it, but it still has some massive problems. I mean, there's things missing, you know, the carburetors are hanging off. There's so much to do on this bike, and it's going to be fun just stripping it down, taking it apart, cleaning it, putting it back together. All you that have done motorcycle restorations, anybody that's worked on these old Kawasaki's, please comment, because I'm going to do so many things wrong. And I'm hoping that any of you that are looking to restore an old motorcycle will kind of look to these videos and see the progression and see the steps that I did wrong, the steps I did right, how long it takes to do this, and how to get things, how to get parts, where to find parts, you know, what's necessary, what's not. What do you want to replace with a modern part versus an old part? There's a lot of unknown. I've got the manual to this bike, and it's only about that thick. It doesn't show you a whole lot. So I'm going to rely a lot on any of you that watch this that know motorcycle restoration, rely a lot on YouTube. But I just love these bikes. I mean, these bikes in 1975, for a short time, they were the fastest production bike made. This 75 Kawasaki is the bike of my youth. You know, I was 11 years old when this bike first came out, and I can vaguely remember it, but as I got older, I started to know a little bit more about its history. And so these are the bikes we grew up on. There was not all this electronic stuff, not all these ABS braking. These bikes were not safe. They were unstable, they didn't turn. All they did was go in a straight line really, really fast, and they had a tendency to pull the wheel. And that's why they're called the Widowmaker. But old bikes, to me, they deserve to be ridden. They deserve to be fixed up, restored, and let the youth of today see what the motorcycle history was, because I feel like we're losing a lot of the motorcycle history as we go into the world of electronics, electronic bikes. You know, I don't know where these bikes are going to end up in 10, 20, 30 years, and I enjoy riding them. I just want them to be around. So anytime you can find one that you can possibly get back on the road again, then we need to do that. This bike, it's 1975 frame. The numbers match, the engine matches. All of it seems to be original, but what's really unique about this is, one, I have title to it, and so I can get it back on the road and ride it. But the other thing is, it's got 960 miles on it. Now, I don't know if that's right or not. I kind of doubt it. The title kind of did a thing where it wasn't registered for a long, long time, and so we had to put we didn't know if the mileage was accurate or not. So, but the license plate, let me show you something. When we look at this license plate, what do you see here? Indiana, that's where it was purchased. I know that because I saw the original purchase order. 1975. So the license on this bike is 1975. I'm thinking there's a possibility that this bike was ridden last in 1975. And I don't know if it was tore up, if it was burned out, blown up, what happened, or someone got hurt on it and they put it away. But it's got a 1975 plate on it and 960 miles. So there's a chance that this bike has only had 960 miles on it. Now, it's going to be rough still. It's not going to ride like that. There is a lot of work to be done on this thing. But here we go. 960 miles. I don't know. What do you think? This is a big project, and I don't know if I have the faith in myself to pull it off. So that's why I'm asking you all for help. But sometimes you have to push it. You have to push the limits, you know. Keep that old noggin active. And so we're going to make a series of videos from breaking these bikes back down to cleaning them, maybe even some vapor honing or vapor blasting. I'm going to do everything I can on my own, even if I have to purchase some things to do that. And if there's any products I use that you like, go into the description. I do have an Amazon storefront. Go in there. If you purchase through that link, the channel does get a little bit of commission from that. And that helps me keep going, helps me buy some parts maybe. So let's go. Let's start breaking these bikes down. So we're going to hit some of these old rusted bolts with this blaster, powerful rust penetrating catalyst, it says. So I've heard this stuff is really good. We're going to spray it on some of these bolts, and then we're going to come back in about 30-40 minutes and see if we can't break them loose. Another thing I highly recommend is get you some good, thick, decent work gloves. These are disposable. You get 50 in a box. They're 8 mil by Promedics, and so you can see they even have some good texture to them. So that way you're not always having to wash your hands, get that grease off. So look at this tail off of Rusty. This is interesting to me. If you could see this, it's an Indiana plate, but it's registered in 1986. So where the other plate was 1975 off Brownie, this one was actually registered and ridden up till 1986. So that's pretty cool. So that's been what? That's been 26, 36, 40 years. So that's 40 years since this bike's been on the road. Out in the garage the next day, we let that blaster penetrating solvent kind of work on these nuts and bolts. It did an okay job on some, but there's a few that I knew would not work, and they don't. They're just too rusted out. So some of the tools that you're going to need is, I've got a good impact drill here that can help break free some of these bolts and nuts and some of these screws. When it comes to the screws, I got a Phillips head here, but it's a special one for Japanese bikes. It's, I believe, called a JIT. It looks like a Phillips head, but it's just a little bit different, and that'll keep you from stripping out some of these screws. And then when you can't get those screws or bolts off, you know, trusty old thing, we got a Dremel, and I'm going to have to take the Dremel to this. But really, and what I'm looking for is this end cowling is the most important thing. That's what I'm wanting to save. This stuff back here is kind of trash. I might get a few parts off of that, but right now the only way to get some of this stuff off is go ahead and cut it off. Couple quick points here. The Dremel, it's a great tool, but make sure you get one of these flexible tips. You can get into a lot of different places. The other one's kind of a personal thing when it comes to safety, and I'm not making light of this, but please get you a full face safety pair of glasses or goggles. I've worked 17, 18 years in the ER and urgent care, and I've had to flick out, get a bunch of metal out of people's eyes, and a lot of them wore safety glasses, but they had the sides that were open, and a little piece of metal gets down there in the eye, and the way we get that out, you get an 18 gauge needle and you go in and you flick it out, and it's not always a pleasant experience. So yeah, good safety eye gear is important. We're going to call it quits today. Got the tail section all broke down just to the metal, all the different parts here in this bag, and I'm going to have to replace a lot of stuff if I'm going to ever use this. And who knows, I might build this one up. You never know. But what it did is it gave me a look on the inside of what this bike's tail looks like, and so I'll be ahead of the game there. But that's kind of what the video is going to be about, this series. It's going to be a whole lot more in depth. I'm going to just do everything I can on this bike until I throw my arms up and say quit, or you guys tell me what's next. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you would. Thumbs up, comments, all that kind of stuff, and I'll catch you next video.